This begins lesson 10 part 3 video. And we're looking at another kind of scenario that you can find. And that is that if you look at these relationships, you can conclude something else. Now notice that the Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But you can also conclude that if you have a squared plus b squared being greater than c squared, or if I read it the proper way and say that the hypotenuse squared will be less than a squared plus b squared, it's an acute triangle. And if you find that the hypotenuse is greater than a squared plus b squared, you have an obtuse triangle. So let's see what we get. Alright, now again, this is the longest side, that's the hypotenuse. So if we set up our relationship, root 5 squared plus 2 root 2 squared equals root 13 squared. As we said before, squaring a square root cancels each other out, and you get 5 plus, now here we have a product inside the parentheses, 2 root 2. So the power of 2 gets distributed. 2 to the second power is 4, and the root of 2 squared is just 2, just like in the other one, so I'm going to have to multiply those in a moment. And then again, we just have 13 on that side. So we have 5 plus 8 equals 13. 13 equals 13. So therefore, this resorts back to our original equation. This is a right triangle. The next one, again, this is the longest side. So I'm actually going to go to their format right here and put the hypotenuse side first. I tend to put the hypotenuse on the right side, but for the formula's sake, I'll put it on the left side. So 14 squared equals root 95 squared plus root 26 squared. 14 squared is 196. Squaring a square root just gives you what was inside. If we add those together, we get 121, and again 196. Now there is one thing that I shouldn't have done, and that is I shouldn't put the equal sign in there, because we really don't know what this is going to be. So I don't know that yet. I don't know what that is yet. But when I get down, I notice that 196 is greater than 121. So that's why I put the hypotenuse on the left side, because then I can go straight up here and see which one that is. And that would be the second one, so we can label this as obtuse. Alright, so let's try the next one. Now we have example 9, where we're asked to do something a little bit different, and that is to find the area. Now this one's going to take a little bit more work. We're going to have to find some information to find the area, so let's base our whole process off of this. The area of a triangle is equal to base times height divided by 2. Now the base is right here, and the height is right here, and we do not know either of them. We know parts, but not the whole thing. Now notice that this blue line that comes down creates a right triangle. That creates a right triangle right here. It also creates a right triangle here. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem over and over again here. So first of all, let's look at this one. So the Pythagorean theorem would tell us that 11 squared plus h squared equals 16 squared. So 121 plus h squared equals 256. If I subtract 121 from both sides, I get 135. I square root, and h will be approximately 11.6. And they said to go to one decimal place, or tenths, so that's what I'll take. Alright. Now let's find out the rest of it. Now if this is 11.6, I can now find this out on the other triangle. And I would say that, I'll call this an unknown x. 11.6 squared plus x squared equals 21 squared. 11.6 squared is 135 plus x squared, this is a 2, equals 441. Subtract 135 from both sides, and we get 306. Root both sides, and we get 17.5. Now we need, 17.5. We need base times height. So here's the base. So if I add those two together, my base becomes 28.5. The 11 plus 17.5. My height is 11.6. So I'll take 28.5 times 11.6 and divide by 2. And that will give me approximately 158.2 units squared. And that ends video 3 of lesson 10.4.